Welcome to another video. Now, Konami banned all of the polymerization cards in this festival, but we are still going to fusion summon using Trap Trick and fall into Albaz. And this is the ultimate anti-meta deck, and you're always going to want to go second, which is really fun because your opponent's going to make some hilarious board, and you're going to look at it, you're going to say, I'm going to take this down. Opponents are going to get some emotional damage. So I would say this is the ultimate emotional damage deck, because you're going to be dealing severe damage to your opponents. Now, I will have the full deck list at the end of the video if you want to see what this masterpiece is. And we'll be playing a couple more days in this festival before it ends at the end of the week. So hopefully we get to try out some cool decks, maybe do an updated Paleozoic deck. And not only is this deck hilarious, involving fusion summoning, but our opponent's decks are also pretty interesting. And I'll show you what I mean. So opponent's got a pretty good Sword Soul board here. They of course have the negate with the Grandmaster. Supreme Sovereign can't be destroyed, and if someone gets banishes a card, they can banish a card from our field and graveyard. So let's try and take this down. We're going to start by summoning Danger Bigfoot, unfortunately discarding the Trap Trick. That is our way to get Necrofusion, which I'll show off sometime in this video. Let's attack. Luckily drew into the evenly match with the Bigfoot here. Opponent's gonna think they're smart here, Supreme Sovereign banishing. Let's activate evenly, and opponent has a Solemn. So evenly not doing anything, but opponents use their negate, they use their Solemn. This is probably a Sword Soul. This is probably a Sword Soul Blackout. So we're gonna play around Blackout. We're not gonna have two monsters on the field. Let's activate our Ecclesia. Opponent also has Ash Blossom. Just answers everywhere. They have answered everything so far. But we got one more. We got one more thing, and it's the ultimate trick. We're gonna fusion summon, using their monster with Fallen Albaz, discard the Ash Blossom, steal the Che-Ying, make a Mirror Blade. No one expects Mirror Blade in a festival with no fusion spells. Let's send Albi into the graveyard, banish that Grandmaster. Ecclesia is going to come back to hand, and that Albion is going to activate. Now, what are we going to set? We're going to set Screams of the Branded, a trap that I have not seen anyone use. If a fusion monster is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one of those monsters during the end phase. Opponent, emotional damage, normal summoning Ash Blossom to end their suffering more quickly, attacking into the Mirror Jade. Well, let's get in for lethal damage. There we go. That's how you do it. Fusion summoning during the No Spells Festival. Alright, but that's not the only trick we got. Let's go on to the next game. Alright, we're back, inflicting some emotional damage on our opponents. Obviously, you let your opponent go first. You let them build their beautiful castle. And this opponent is building a Pendulum Castle. Now, Pendulums have an OTK, which is pretty frightening. And I usually don't know what the Pendulums do, but I know what specific cards to negate. And I usually wait and negate the Electromite. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to wait till we see Electromite. And here it is, Heavy Metal Foe's Electromite. That's going to search their Pendulum monsters from the deck and do all sorts of wackiness. So we're going to negate that with Imperm. Opponent ending on an Appaloosa. Obviously their combo is disrupted. So they got a billion monster negates here. So let's get going. Can't negate the summon of Ecclesia because it's an inherent summon. If you want to know what that means, search it, because I'm not going to explain. I don't understand. But we're going to activate our Danger, start summoning monsters, get some bodies on the board. Opponent is going to negate the Jackalope. That's good. If this Appaloosa gets below 15, we can just attack over it. Let's try normal summoning Albaz. Try and fusion summon. Opponent doesn't negate, letting us have a Mirror Jade. That is probably a mistake. We even get to summon our Tatsunoko here, so we got lots of bodies on board. Let's XZ summon into Heartland Draco. This monster can attack directly. Sure, you understand that's probably for attacking directly through a board to make a Zeus. Let's hit our opponent for a lot of life point damage. Make a Zeus in defense mode. Zeus pretty excellent against Pendulum decks because send all their scales and everything to the graveyard. They don't go back to the extra deck. Opponent is Pendulum summoning everything onto their field. This is going to activate, summon a monster to the field. In response, activate Zeus, send everything to the graveyard. Activate Mirror Jade, so we get to send Albion to the graveyard. We'll get to set that trap at end of turn. Activate emotional damage.
Emotional damage!
And opponent is done. Pendulum sent to the graveyard. Alright, now that was pretty fun. Let's do another game. Alright, we're having a lot of fun here. Going second, tearing opponent's boards apart. Evenly matched. You gotta have 3 of this. This is so good. Opponent is playing Sword Souls. Let's see what sort of Sword Soul board they can set up. Interesting that they're leading with a strategist here. No Mo Yi, but they're making two. They got the Supreme Sovereign, burning us, making the Grandmaster. They still got their normal summon. They're going to go for another one? They're going for another one. Using the Taya. Making another level 8 Synchro. Even getting back their strategist here. So they got Draco Berserker, they got Supreme Sovereign, and they got Grandmaster. They even got a set card, probably a Blackout. Alright, let's rip this apart. Start by going to battle, activate the Evenly Matched, banish everything, opponent keeping the Supreme Sovereign. Let's Ecclesia, and let's do some illegal summoning. Opponent, you're going to max C, but it's not going to help you. Ecclesia, you're going to summon the Fallen Albaz. Opponent probably thinks we're Sword Soul right now, but now they know we're not. Fallen Albaz is going to Fusion Summon. Making a Mirror Jade. Love to see it. Let's set to back row. Necrofusion can Fusion Summon using monsters in our graveyard. Since we got Fallen Albaz and some monsters in here, we can Fusion Summon. But let's see what the opponent's doing. Making a Monk of the Tenyi. Let's activate Mirror Jade. Send a Fusion Monster to the graveyard. Now we got a Fusion Monster in graveyard. We can make another Mirror Jade using our Necrofusion. Banish our opponent's normal monster. They're going to go for the Strategist. Now, because Strategist is an effect to summon, we cannot negate it with Solemn Judgment. So, if you're going to ask me why didn't I negate that, can't negate. Opponent returning Mirror Jade to the extra deck. That gets around his effect, so their board's not going to get popped. They're returning to the Ashuna to hand. You can see Sword Soul. They don't give up. Synchro summoning into a Sinister Sovereign. Let's negate the summon. Definitely worth paying 3,400 life points for that. And opponent thinks we got nothing left. Well, our last card, Necrofusion, plus we got the Ecclesia. Let's make another Mirror Jade. And opponent inflicted by the emotional damage, not letting it resolve. Ultimate emotional damage victory. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Alright, let's go. Now, we got no Fallen Albaz in hand. We do have the Trap Trick. We'll let us Fusion Summon using monsters in the graveyard. Opponent playing Adamanticators. Let's try and disrupt with the Imperm. Stop them from activating their effect to search. Opponent special summoning Researcher. Activating to look at the top 5 cards. They can add a rock monster to their field, special summon it, but they whiff, don't hit a rock monster, and opponent setting one back from passing to us. Alright, Ecclesia, a great draw here, except opponent has no extra deck monsters, so there's nothing to Fusion Summon with yet. Fusion Summoning still illegal. Let's discard a Danger Thunderbird, pop the Imperm, opponent gonna negate the Ecclesia and activate a Draw and Lockbird. Actually pretty annoying against us. It means our Dangers don't draw cards anymore. So we're gonna stop summoning here. Well, let's go to battle, pop that Adamanticator Seeker, and pass to the opponent. Ecclesia no longer negated. Let's see if the opponent knows what we're doing. They're activating the Researcher. Let's negate with Ash. Stop him from looking at the top cards of their deck. Special summoning monster. What you got next, opponent? Opponent summoning a Prank Kid. Making the Prank Kid Meow Moo, and now it's time to strike. Meow Moo is a Link monster. That means it's Mirror Jade time. Let's summon the Fallen Albaz from the deck. Discard that Danger Jackalope. Special summon using their own Link monster. Make the Mirror Jade. And since that Jackalope got discarded, he's going to summon itself, but we've inflicted enough emotional damage, and opponent is done. Does not want to see it. Alright, I know what you're thinking. You know, so far these games have been all very one-sided. You're just stomping fools. I want to see a difficult game. I want to see a hard game. Alright, let's go on to the next game. We got a pretty good hand here. Evenly matched Trap Trick. We got 2 Fallen Albaz, and we got a Danger Thunderbird. Opponent summoning a Cardee to draw cards. Set 2. What is this? This is some spice. Well, let's get started here. Now, it's always a risk with the Dangers. You don't want to discard some certain cards in your hand, so sometimes it's better to wait. So what we're going to do first is activate our Evenly Matched. We only get to banish 1 card here. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe we should have held it for later. Unfortunately, discarding the Trap Trick, we probably should have set it before we started activating the Dangers, because we really want Trap Trick to get our Necrofusion. But that's okay. Let's keep activating our Dangers. Summoning monster drawing cards. We get an Ecclesia here. Let's summon the Fallen Albaz. Make a Blackluster Soldier Sword of Chaos now. I think we'll learn a lesson here. Is Blackluster Soldier Sword of Chaos good? He feels good when you make him with a level 7 or higher monster. Can't be targeted with card effects and can't be destroyed by battle. Opponent's going to struggle to deal with this. Paleos don't have non-targeting effects. So this indestructible Blackluster Soldier that can't be targeted, going to be hard for them to deal with. Passing back to us. Opponent activating the Pikaia, discarding to draw 2. They got Paleos in their graveyard now. Let's attack them directly. Summon the Ecclesia. And we make a bit of a mistake here. Probably should not have activated the Thunderbird because we want to have cards in our hand to discard to the Fallen Albaz. So, bit of a mistake potentially here. Not necessarily a huge deal. Opponent activating a trap effect. This redeemable jar is a massive grind engine, and I gotta say I was really impressed by this. We discard our Danger Thunderbird, we get to pop a card, but it's a Paleozoic Dynamicious. They have to target our Ecclesia because they can't target Blackluster Soldier. I'm sure they would have liked to banish him. Ecclesia gonna activate, dodge the effect to banish. Let's special summon the Fallen Albaz from the deck. Opponent discarding a token collector and ending the turn. And I feel like we're in a great spot here. I feel like we are. Opponent's got 4 cards in hand. They got only 2 cards on the field. I feel like we're in a good spot. But now opponent's sat in 3 and turtling. So let's keep attacking. Blackluster Soldier's effect is going to activate now. Opponent using Pikaia, looting more. Alright. Using the Morella effect. That is okay. They're sending a trap to the graveyard. Let's go to battle. Now the reason we're holding the Solemn in hand is because we can discard it with the effect. One of the easy monsters to summon here is the Lubellion, and Lubellion needs you to discard a card, so we're holding the Solemn in hand to discard to potentially make a Lubellion. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe we should set the Solemn. Opponent activating Heavy Storm Duster. Let's Necrofusion. Our trap activates the Morella effect to summon itself. Summoning the Morella to the field. Let's fusion summon a Lubellion. Lubellion's effect going to activate. Discard that Solemn Judgment. We get to make a Mirror Jade, but opponent has a Lost Wind in the graveyard that they milled. Lost Wind going to be able to negate our Mirror Jade's effect permanently, which is a little awkward. So we got Mirror Jade on the field, but not much of a threat with that card set. Can negate the Mirror Jade's effect. Opponent summoning Laundry Dragon Maid to mill 3. That is some spice. Milling another Lost Wind, and they're Link summoning, or XC summoning, into a Centuria, and this is terrible. This monster can't be destroyed by a battle when it has a material. It means they're going to attack, they're going to get Zeus. We can activate Mirror Jade, but we already know opponent can negate with the Lost Wind. Opponent is tearing us apart. And one of the only ways to get around Blackluster Soldier is with a Zeus send to the graveyard effect. Does not target, does not destroy. Opponent is just tearing us apart with these Paleos. Mirror Jade's effects negated permanently. Attacking into our Blackluster Soldier. Sending him back to the extra deck. Ruthless. Making a Zeus. Zeus has 2 materials. We get to set a Screams of the Branded. But Zeus is going to send our entire field to the graveyard. Everything goes to the graveyard. Ecclesia going to come back to our hand, which is pretty sweet. But the Zeus is popped, and these Paleos are immune to monster effects, so they actually don't get destroyed. Now, it looks like we're going to win here. Our opponent has literally nothing. They have nothing. We have a 1500 attack Ecclesia. Opponent has 1,000 monsters or 1,000 traps in their graveyard, but they got nothing on the field. Well, let's see if we can pull this through with Ecclesia beatdown. Opponent set in a single card. Let's draw. Evenly matched. And it's the redeemable jar. They get to banish a trap from the graveyard and add a trap from their graveyard to their hand with a different name. So they just get to keep adding. Every turn they're going to add a trap to hand. That's even also activating the effect of the Morella to summon itself. They add a Xe Reborn to their hand, which is going to let them summon the Zeus from the graveyard. Ecclesia, we can use Zeus and Ecclesia and Fallen Albaz. So, you know, Zeus isn't that bad. But opponents get more cards. Adding a Lost Wind to hand. So now, if we special summon the Fallen Albaz, they can negate it. We're in trouble. We're in huge trouble. And we got a monster on field. Opponent is activating Lost Wind. We have no choice here. Let's activate Maxi. We probably should have activated the effect of Ecclesia to dodge, because that effect of the Lost Wind is permanent. But we activate the Maxi, draw another Ecclesia, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll leave the Ecclesia on field. And opponent activating, this is real sad here. Opponent had an Olinodes. They get to pop our set trap. Never, ever, ever set the evenly matched. I told you this in the last video, and here I am doing it. Never set evenly matched. Because opponent's going to pop it. We don't get to use the evenly matched. Now opponent's up on us. They got 5 cards. We got 4. Opponent is every turn adding a card they want from their graveyard to their hand, getting another Lost Wind. The effect of the Lost Wind is permanent, so Ecclesia's effect is permanently negated. We probably should have summoned another Ecclesia. More mistakes on our part. I'm getting sloppy. I'm playing bad. Getting paleoed. The emotional damage is building up on me this time. Opponent summoning that Zeus back from the graveyard, attaching a material. Only one material. We try and activate Ecclesia, but it's permanently negated. Can't steal the Zeus. If I'd summoned the other Ecclesia, maybe I could have done it. Opponent gonna set. They're attacking us down. They're gonna set that Lost Wind again and make a Toad. Now they got negate. They got Zeus. They got 2 set back row. How did we let this slip away? What a mistake. Opponent activating Trap Trick. They get to search their deck for any trap. Get an Ice Dragon's Prison. Gonna be able to banish cards from our graveyard to banish our monsters on field. Getting a Death Frog. Now we summon the Ecclesia, and here I am wanting to... Yeah, we're gonna activate Jackalope here. I'm wanting to make my Blackluster Soldier again and attack over this Toad. So we make the BLS, but fine print on the Death Frog. We have to attack the Death Frog. Monsters can't be attacked except this one. We can activate the Blackluster Soldier and banish a card on field. And I should have done that. I should have activated and banished the Zeus. But I made another mistake here. This effect activates in the damage step, which means it can't be negated by Toad. I was just thinking, it's going to get negated by Toad. Doesn't matter what I choose. I'll just choose Baboost attack points. I should have banished the Zeus. Misplaced City here. Maybe Blackluster Soldier could have pulled it through. But now opponent has Zeus. And Zeus activation is lethal. Not sure why opponent's adding stuff to hand. I guess they want to set themselves up in case something goes horribly wrong. But Zeus is going to banish everything on the field. Except their own Paleos. They get to add back a Laundry Dragon Maid. Summon it. Make another Xe. But it's lethal damage. Alright, well, my horrible misplays aside, this was a great duel. And I'm super interested in this opponent's deck list. So let's take a look at the opponent's deck list and let's steal it for later. Alright, here is the opponent's deck, and this is just a gold mine. This is beautiful. Not sure about these token collectors. I don't think that's necessary, but there's some spice in here. Storm and Mirror Force, Paleozoics, just Paleozoics, every Paleozoic in here. The Laundry Dragon Maids to mill the Paleos, and it's a level 2 water, which means you can Xe summon. And the real spice here, we're running 45 cards. Maybe in a deck like this, that'd be, you know, maybe in a deck like this that makes sense. Phantom Knights of the Lost, Vambrace, level 2 monster. You can use it to make your traps. Make it your trap monsters. That's pretty smart. Xe summon with a level 2 trap. That's just, this is spicy. Even got a 1-of Spiritual Swords. Once per attack, you can pay 1,000 life points to negate an attack. Banish the card from the graveyard. Stop direct attacks. This is just spicy. Only one evenly matched is interesting. Ice Dragon's Prison, pretty spicy too. And these redeemable jars. The value from this card was insane. Every turn they were adding, it was like drawing 2 basically. They were drawing a card from their graveyard. Now there's some spice here in the extra deck. Armor Kappa, level 2 monster, detach gains attack. When attack is declared, you can discard a card. Monsters can't be destroyed by battle. You saw the Sky Cavalry can't be destroyed at the end of the damage step. You can detach a material to return a monster to the hand. Make a Zeus because it's indestructible. That's some value. Definitely adding that into the non-budget list. Didn't see our opponent make the Paleozoic Animalchorus. I honestly don't think this one's actually that good. Probably could be cut. Opponent playing 2 Opabinia. Probably agree with that. That card's quite strong. Number 45, a Toad, of course. Phantom Knight. 2 level 2s. Detach a material from this card. Target a face-up monster until the end of the turn. Change its attack to 0. Negate its effect. That's pretty good. If you got a Phantom Knight card as a material, you can use it as a quick effect. And opponent did have the Phantom Knight, so they could do that. Also got a Mannequin Cat. I've seen people play this, I think in Sprites. It has some sort of effect that lets you special summon a card from your deck. Let's just read it quickly. Detach a material from this card, target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field. If a monster is special summoned this way, you can target a face-up monster they control, special summon a monster of the same type or attribute from your hand deck or graveyard. So I guess you could use this to summon a Dragon Maid, maybe if your opponent's playing dragon monsters, or maybe a token collector, or I guess a Dupe Frog if your opponent's got Aquas. Interesting that they're only running Dupe Frog and not the rest of the Frog package. That is some quality spice. That is some quality spice. I never would have thought to do that, but I guess you want a high volume of traps in here. And the card D, you're not using a normal summon, so card D is like really high quality include here. Obviously the Zeus and a bunch of links, Masquerena, Nightmare Unicorn, and an Access Code Talker. So I'm going to steal a lot of this. We're going to do the maximum budget version of this deck, and we'll come back next time and see that. So be sure to stay tuned. Alright, now let's go on to the deck I'm playing. Alright, here is the deck Konami does not want you to play. Inflict emotional damage on your opponents. Fusion summon in a festival with no polymerization allowed. That's the sort of fun that I like to have. We didn't get to see this, but Albion the Shrouded Dragon is a great card. You can activate it in hand to send a Fallen Albaz straight to the graveyard. Use your Necro Fusion with the Albaz in graveyard. Just pretty quality. Lets you draw a card. Card neutral, send an Albaz to the graveyard. 3 evenly matched. You saw how good this is. We're going second. Imperm at 3. Obviously, we're going to run the Ash Blossom. Maxi is medium. I don't like running too much of it because I find it's a bit cloggy. So 1 Maxi. We got the 3 Necro Fusions. We got the 3 Trap Tricks. That's to get Necro Fusion. You can also get evenly matched with it, but never found a situation where that was necessary. We got the 1 Screams of the Branded to search for when we send our Albions to the graveyard. And we got a Solemn Judgment. In the extra deck, we got Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. We got 2 Albions. We got a Despian Quartus, which we cannot summon because we don't have any Despian monsters. What's going on? These 2 monsters, we can't summon them. These shouldn't be in here. Let's take these out. Get these out of here. No Despian monsters. That means no Despian monsters in the extra deck. We got 2 Mirror Jades. Mirror Jade's pretty sweet. That's all I gotta say. 2 Lubellions. We got a Heartland Draco. We got a Divine Arsenal Zeus. We got a Nightmare Phoenix. We got a Nightmare Unicorn. We got a Blackluster Soldier and an Underworld Goddess. So we got 2 extra slots in this extra deck. What would I say you should include? Probably some more XTs, maybe some more links. We could probably include an Access Code Talker in here, or maybe an Appaloosa as well. Sometimes you end up with boards with a lot of monsters because of the dangers, so that's a possibility. Also, you could throw in a level 8 XC. It is possible to get 2 level 8s on field with your Danger Thunderbirds and your Danger Bigfoot, so a level 8 XC could also be something you might want to try out. But yeah, let me know what you think, if there's anything I'm missing in this extra deck. Overall, this deck was a lot of fun. Going second, causing emotional damage, love to see it. Alright, I hope you liked today's video, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.